Oh, wow. Okay. So much information is here at this website right here that I want to promote. It's called watch-unto-prayer.org. And the particular article that I'm on, and there could potentially be hundreds, if not thousands, of links. This person that put this site together, they know their stuff. And while I rarely, if ever, agree with 100% of what another person says, ever, I got to say that by the vast majority of uh, information on his site, I agree with most of it. We'll say that. I was reading through this article, and it's this Eretz-Israel-last Trump article. Now, this is a long, long article. These are not quick little one or two paragraph articles. This is in depth, meaty information, research, so many links. And what I wanted to highlight for you here, there's so much going on. You are being manipulated through propaganda. You are being manipulated to the nth degree by a litany of people within the media, government, entertainment, uh, TV churches, um, all Edward Bernays style propaganda. Um, there is an objective to pollute the church through the leadership of Masons that are pretending to be Christians that are not, and they're everywhere. I mean, they are everywhere, and they have been placed for the goal and purpose to pollute the well. And that is amidst a world where you have a tiny little remnant of the real deal that has truly come to Jesus and been born again. And it is the goal of the devil and his point men everywhere to lead you astray, to trick you, to confuse you, to lie to you, to create so much confusion and chaos and disinformation that you really don't know what end is up, and you don't know where your allegiance should be with regard to human leaders. I've done a ton of videos. I invite you to check out all of those videos because they all give a little piece of the puzzle. And in looking at this super long article, that there's no way we could get through this article right now. I've been reading it for a while, but what I want to hyper focus on, now I have seen this photo before, and I know that a lot of people have been trained to do hero worship, and they will say, well, this is just photoshopped. Trump did not hold up a rainbow flag that says LGBT is for Trump, but in the original article that this was put in, there's a photo credit, meaning a professional photographer was given the photo credit for taking this, which means it was a real event that actually happened in time, that a real camera took this. This is the exact original copy, okay? And you can look this up for yourself. Now, so like I've been telling you, I've been reading for a while this article, and I'm going to put a link in because I want to push this site because people, especially my own people that are born again Christians, you need to know that you are being led astray by Masons pretending to be Christians that have been placed in every area of life, including and especially the American government. And the gentleman now is an actor who is our president. This guy right here is an actor, and he is very much part and parcel of the Kabbalah, the Noahides. He's a Noahide. And people have noted, to back up in the article that Hitler himself, just back it up a little bit here, also ran on a platform. Look at this. He told people that he would make Germany great again. So Let's read this. Donald Trump was selected as president in large measure due to the support of the evangelical community. Well, that's what they want you to think. They put them there, and they did get a lot of evangelicals to vote, and we didn't really know what we were voting for. Around 80% of evangelical Christians voted for Trump in 2016. I'm saying that whether they voted or not, they would have, period, end of story. Because that is how it works. You actually don't have a choice. They just give you the illusion that you do. But nonetheless, in 2016, and his approval rating among them remains high. Donald Trump campaigned as a conservative, promising to protect religious liberty and to, quote, make America great again. Another famous nationalist deceived the evangelical Christians in Germany with the promise that he would, quote, make Germany great again. What the bad guys do is they look back in history and find out how things functioned and worked, and then they just copy it. What you're seeing right now is simply a copy of what Hitler did in his time frame. And they draw a ton of comparisons that I don't really have time to get into right now, except that you are being led to the slaughter, and they are trying to pollute Christianity. And we'll talk about that in some more videos, because there's a lot of really important stuff that you need to know that's going on with this whole Kufi, pro-Zionist, you're going to support Israel or else type of stuff. Let's read this excerpt right here. Persecution of Christian churches is the source. It would be misleading to give the impression that the persecution of Protestants and Catholics by the Nazi state toward German people is asunder or even greatly aroused the vast majority of them. It did not. The people who had so lightly given up their political and cultural and economic freedoms were not, especially except for a relatively few, going to die or even risk imprisonment to preserve freedom of worship. What really aroused the Germans in the 30s, now listen, was the glittering success of Hitler in providing jobs, creating prosperity, restoring Germany's military might. Are you listening? And moving from one triumph to another in his foreign policy. And many Germans lost much sleep over the arrests. Not many Germans lost much sleep over the arrests of a few thousand pastors and priests, or over the quarreling of various Protestant sects. They didn't really care as long as it benefited them in the long run, is what he's saying. And even fewer paused to reflect that under the leadership of Rosenberg, Borgmann, and Himmler, I only know Himmler, who was backed by Hitler, the Nazi regime intended eventually, get this, to destroy Christianity in Germany, if it could, and substitute, listen, the old paganism of the early tribal Germanic gods and the new paganism of the Nazi extremists. As Bormann, one of the men closest to Hitler, said publicly in 1941, National Socialism and Christianity are, what has this word pronounced? Irreconcilable? I guess don't go together, as what I think that means. Irreconcilable? Irreconcilable. So you can't reckon them together. They're opposites. What's happening before is happening again with your poster boy right here. As Hitler betrayed his conservative, Protestant supporters, there are disturbing signs that Donald Trump is also betraying his conservative Christian base. Trump's pledge to protect their religious liberty is belied by his refusal to rescind Obama's LGBT Rainbow Mafia non-discrimination executive order for churches and ministries receiving government and corporate funding through the faith-based partnerships that control over churches. to keep their tax exempt status, I guess you have to dance to the tune of the Pied Piper of Hell.
So,
and with no publicity in the mainstream media, Trump has appointed, now get this, 2 openly gay members of the Rainbow Mafia, law associations for the advancement of the Rainbow Mafia issues to federal courts. Federal courts. So he has put those individuals in massive positions of power because he's a big fat liar that's a Mason, that's a big giant liar who lies. Right there, your president. And this is why he's holding this flag. This is why see his lips right here? See what he's doing? This in psychology is called duper's delight right there. That little smile, that's your body is showing signs of your internal thought processes that I'm doing something bad. I'm tricking you and you're stupid is the thinking. And I just have to express it some way in my body. Well, I can't tell you I'm tricking you. So you do the duper's delight. And there's much, much more that could be said about this. This article is extremely long, but let's read this whitehouse.gov. On August 27th, President Trump furthered this deception at the White House dinner for 100 evangelical leaders. And though he cleverly set a trap for Christian churches by subtly implying that they may now endorse Republican candidates in the November election without losing tax-exempt status. Interesting. As you know, in recent years, the government tried to undermine religious freedom, but the attacks on communities of faith are over, he says. We've ended it, and then applause. Unlike some before us, we are protecting your religious liberty. In the last 18 months alone, we have stopped the Johnson Amendment from interfering with your First Amendment rights. Applause. A big deal. It's a big deal. He repeats everything. We've taken action to defend the religious consciences of doctors, nurses, teachers, students, preachers, faith groups, and religious employers. We have sent the entire executive branch guidance on protecting the religious liberty. Big deal. Brought the Faith and Opportunity Initiative to the White House. Okay, but what you don't understand is that he is protecting and yoking with, because he's a Jesuit, the Babylonian Roman Catholic Church, and he is holding hands with the Kabbalah unbelieving Jews to further this pagan nationalism under the guise of Christianity, but it's not a real Christianity. It's a fake Christianity. It's what the Bible told you was going to happen. And this article goes over a lot of that. Here's a picture when they did that event. I'd love to know who the entities were that were in this. This is being made to look like he did something on behalf of evangelicals, but in all reality, it's a trap, it's a trick. And he actually will go over in this article. I'm sorry if this is hard on your eyes to see it scrolling up so fast here. Yeah. He talks about the externalization of the hierarchy, which that's his house. We're going to run out of time here, but that's his house with Apollo, the sun god. This is a New Age dream to sink the church. I just highly recommend this article. There's so much here. I could just never get to all of it. And the quote might be up so high. This is just paragraph within paragraph within paragraph. But basically, in a nutshell, the New Age has subverted the church. They're poisoning the well on purpose, and they are co-opting everybody into this Christian right that is not Christian. The article is time to get off the Trump train. Boy, is that true. Anyhow, I'm going to let you read this quote yourself. It is about world domination, and they are using the church to do it, and they are betraying the church. Duper's delight. So the church is being set up and lied to, and it's all being done by a man who is a Mason who is tricking you. Thank you so much.